Hello, Andrew here, and in this video we're going to tackle the biggest, well, maybe not the biggest, but certainly the first problem that all new course creators face. How to know what topic to pick for your course and how to make sure there's a market for your idea. Let's look at how to do this. Now, there's two camps when it comes to ideas for a course. We've got the ones with lots of ideas, in fact so many they don't know what to decide on. And then you've got the other camp, the ones that are really struggling to come up with a single idea. Well, good news, because we're going to deal with both, and by the end of this lesson you'll know exactly how to find the perfect course idea. But before we get into that, if you like this lesson, smash that like button, and if you want more course creation tips, tricks and techniques from me, hit the subscribe button and I'll teach you for free. So anyway, let's start right from the top. You want to create a course? You like the idea of the freedom having a successful course offers? Only problem, you don't know what to teach. Or you've got lots of ideas and you don't know which one to go with. So let's fix that. In fact, just before we jump into the lesson, I'd love to hear what your ideas are for courses, so let me know in the comments below. Always amazes me what comes up when I ask this question. So anyway, if you're struggling for an idea and you just can't come up with anything, ask yourself, do you have any skills? Are you passionate about something? Is there something that you really enjoy talking about? Maybe you've got experience in something, or you've overcome a problem that others struggle with. Everyone I have this conversation with who doesn't think they've got skills or experience, after talking with them for like 5 minutes, it always transpires that they do have something locked away. It's just a case of digging to find it. Is there something that people have said, how did you do that? Are you constantly being asked for advice on something? Do you have a talent, a skill? What do you excel at? Is there something that you really enjoy doing? These are all contenders for a course idea. Everyone has something that others will pay to learn. The biggest hurdle a lot of people have when trying to come up with ideas of what they can teach is getting this notion out of their head that they've got to be an expert in something or have a degree in whatever it is that they're teaching. In my opinion, this is an opinion based on creating courses for over 20 years. Let me tell you, experts often don't make good teachers. Experts are great at teaching other experts, but for the masses, experts, they forget how much they know and how little the audience knows. They miss out steps, crucial bits of information. So you don't need to be an expert, but you do have to be passionate. It's far more powerful to be relatable than it is to be an expert. If your audience, if they can relate to you, if they can see that you're like them and you've travelled the road that they're on, if you come across as just like them, it gives them confidence. It makes them believe that they can do it. If you can move somebody further along, give them results, and you're passionate, you can teach. You only have to know more than the people you're teaching and be able to deliver it in a way that can be understood, and that's it. But what if you've got the opposite problem? Let's say you've got a few ideas whizzing around in your head and you don't know which one to pick. Here's what you need to do. When you've got a list of topics that you're thinking about, when you're trying to work out which one is going to make the best course, what you need to do is you need to list out all your ideas and then run through a series of questions to narrow your list down. Here's what you've got to understand. People buy courses, not because they want to buy a course. In fact, no one wants your course. What they want is the solution, the outcome. So let's start there. The first question you've got to ask is, does your idea for a course, does it solve a problem, and how big of a problem is it? Then you've got to try and figure out what the result to the customer is for not solving the problem. What's the cost? The higher the cost to the customer, and it doesn't have to be money related, it could be health related, relationship related, could be personal satisfaction. But list the result or cost for not curing the problem. Next question. Where are the customers? How easy are they to reach? Are there groups, communities that are going to make it easier to find your audience? And how big is the audience? How easy is it going to be to reach them? It's all well and good having a course, but the easier and cheaper you can get in front of the right audience, the more you're going to sell. The next question that you've got to ask yourself, and here's the one that most people totally overlook. Is your audience irrationally passionate? Do they have a community, their own terms, language? Are there events, meetups held on the topic? If there is, great. But it's not a deal breaker. Not all topics by their nature have an enthusiastic community. If you were doing a course on, say, how to improve your golf swing, golfers would have a very active community. But if your course was on, say, how to pass your driving test, it probably wouldn't be. Could be wrong, but I doubt there's a passionate community on it. Next question, are people willing to pay for a solution? Is the audience able to pay for a solution? Now with this question I'm getting a little deep here and I don't want to get off topic, but I do want you to be aware that while there may be an audience, you've got to make sure it's a paying audience, and one that's going to pay whatever it is that you're charging. Quick story, well, it's not really a story, it's more of a real life example. I had a client who released a course on memory techniques for students. This was his target audience. I mean, students with all the studying, they've got to remember a lot of stuff. Ideal audience, you'd think, and the course in question was fantastic. The only problem, the students didn't want to pay what the course cost. The mindset was more fixed on searching YouTube for free solutions. As good as the course was, the audience didn't, or at least the majority of the audience, didn't have the best part of 1,000 bucks lying around to buy it. He actually ended up repositioning it and selling it to corporate speakers. He did very well when he positioned it to the right audience. Each topic idea you have, you need to run them through these questions to narrow your topics down. Now, when you've listed your ideas and you've applied these questions to each idea, you can then compare the ideas side by side. It's going to make it a lot easier to know which direction to go in. So let's assume that you've done all that. You've picked your topic, gone through all the questions. The acid test is when people have to actually pay. No point just asking the audience, would they buy it? I can tell you, a lot will say yes until they have to get their hand in the pocket. The best way that you can test a market without going all in, spending a lot of time, money and effort, is to create a scaled down version in a workshop, a webinar format, and charge for it. You could take a couple of points that you'll be covering in your full course and build a short workshop style course covering just a very small focused sample. Of course, goes without saying, you've got to be giving value, teaching, delivering real benefit. Now, you may have to run a few simple ads on social to drive traffic to your workshop. In fact, actually, just let me back up here a little. I just want to make something really clear. You're not trying to make money here. You need to price your simple workshop. You need to price it low, maybe $19 or something. You just want to be getting people in for confirmation that people will pay for the topic. And you want feedback to validate and gain an insight into the questions that your audience have. That's going to help you when you scale and build out your bigger course. Makes sense? After the workshop, then send them on a questionnaire, jump on a call and get feedback. And once you start to get feedback and proof that people will pay, then you can start to invest time into building a bigger course. Now, if you're still with me, you may want to know that I've also done a video on audience and market validation for your course once you've got your idea locked in. Once you finish this video, you should go watch that. It does a much deeper dive. It shows you, well, one of the things that it shows you is how to find areas that no one else, none of your competitors, are paying attention to. How to build your course so that it speaks directly to your target audience. So it's probably something that you want to watch. I'll put a link below. Now, I know validation doesn't sound sexy, but the simple truth is, the more you understand your audience, the more you know about what they want, the better you understand the market, the more courses you'll sell. So it's worth doing. Well, if you like this lesson, give me the thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and I'll teach you a whole lot more for free. Well, there we go. So until next time, bye for now.